Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Arjun Chaudhary. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Tuesday, the 17th of February. At least 8 killed in Taliban attack on police headquarters in eastern Pakistan. UNHRC delays report on war crimes against Sri Lankan Tamils till September. And southern India's legendary Chinese fishing nets struggling to survive. And now for all the details. At least 8 people were killed and dozens of others have been injured in a suicide blast and gun attack in eastern Pakistan on Tuesday. The Pakistan Taliban has claimed responsibility for the attack.
The blast took place outside the police headquarters in Lahore, followed by heavy gunfire. The powerful explosion also damaged a number of vehicles and nearby buildings. Those injured in the blast have been shifted to nearby hospitals. Police said the death toll could increase as the condition of some of the injured is said to be critical. According to reports, suicide bomber blew himself up outside the main gate of the police headquarters after he failed to enter inside.
अभी तक की जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन है उसके मुताबिक ये सुसाइड का चांसेस ज़्यादा हैं क्योंकि एक हेड भी मिला है और मोस्ट प्रॉब्ली इट इज़ सुसाइड और इसमें आपने खुद भी देखा है अभी और उसमें ये है कि उसकी अटेम्प्ट यही थी कि वो पुलिस लाइन में एंटर हो और उसने ये प्रीमेच्योरली ब्लास्ट किया।
मेरी गाड़ी उछली है और बाहर में निकला हूँ तो शदीद जो है ना गंदक की बू जैसी आई है, अफरा तफरी थी। मैं फौरी तौर पे भागा हूँ इस तरफ, तो उस वक्त तक पुलिस वाले भी अपनी पोजीशनें संभाल चुके थे और अफरा तफरी का एक आलम था और मोटरसाइकिलों वाले और जख्मी चीखों पुकार कर रहे थे।
Jamaat-ul-Ahrar, a breakaway faction of the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, has claimed responsibility of Tuesday's blast. Ehsanullah Ehsan, spokesperson of the militia, said the attack was in retaliation to the military crackdown on the Taliban in Waziristan. Pakistan has seen an upswing in Taliban violence in the recent times despite the ongoing Operation Zarb-e-Azb. The Taliban had attacked a Shia mosque in Peshawar on Friday, killing at least 20 people.
The Amnesty International has expressed concern over delay in the UN Human Rights Council on submitting its report on alleged rights violation by the Sri Lankan army during the civil war with the Tamil Tigers. The UNHRC had on Monday sought an extension of 6 months in submitting its report.
Amnesty International on Tuesday said the new deadline sought by UNHRC chief Zaid Rad Al Hussein should not allow the perpetrators of the crime to get away. Amnesty International Asia Pacific Director Richard Bennett said the delay granted by the UN on Monday will be justified only if the report can bring out a stronger document against those responsible. UNHRC Chief Hussein had sought time until September this year for what he claimed was a stronger and more comprehensive report. He also said that the new government in Colombo has assured all cooperation into the investigation, which the previous government had refused to do. Sri Lanka has been facing a UN-monitored international probe into human rights violations committed by its army during the end of the nearly 3 decades-long civil war with the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam. According to UN and various international rights groups, up to 40,000 Tamil civilians were killed in the last 3 months of the conflict in 2009. The then Sri Lankan government headed by Mahinda Rajapaksa had denied any war crimes committed by the army.
Indian anti-corruption crusader Anna Hazare is back on his soapbox, and this time he has pledged to lead thousands of farmers from across the country to protest what he says is the injustice of the federal government's changes to the Land Acquisition Act.
Veteran Indian social activist Anna Hazare will launch a 2-day protest against amendments to the Land Acquisition Act, which he's argued disadvantages farmers and threatens land usage and ownership. The protest starts on 23rd February at the Jantar Mantar site in the Indian capital New Delhi. And several farmers' organizations and prominent local activists will also lend their support. A disillusioned Mr. Hazare has demanded the Bharatiya Janata Party-led government withdraw significant changes made to the 2013 Land Acquisition Act last December. He says these changes are unjust because the Act now allows 5 key areas such as housing, defence and infrastructure projects to acquire land without consent from affected farmers and families.
उस कानून में इंडस्ट्री के लिए जो ज़मीन लेनी है 70% लोग अगर वो ज़मीन देने के लिए तैयार नहीं तो सरकार नहीं ले सकती, इन्होंने उसको निकाल दिया। तो यही तो भूमि अधिग्रहण बिल ये किसानों पर अन्याय करने वाला है।
The septuagenarian is a respected figure renowned for having led grassroots movements to further a number of social causes. He had transformed a degraded village in the western province of Maharashtra into a livable paradise using revolutionary farming techniques. And he had gone on a hunger strike in 2011, which had forced the then ruling Congress party to enact an anti-corruption bill. This time around, the Congress party appears eager to back Mr. Hazare's land rights campaign.
If Mr. Hazare is planning to start an agitation, he is more than welcome. After all, this government has proved in the past 8 months that it is anti-farmer, anti-the Aam Aadmi, and only bats for the corporates.
Anna Hazare's anti-corruption campaign more than 3 years ago had mobilized an entire nation against the policies of the Indian government. Observers will be just as keen to see if his latest confrontation this time with the new Modi-led government will be able to achieve similar success in rallying the public to push for change. Avneet Arora for South Asia Newsline in New Delhi.
The political violence in Bangladesh is showing no signs of slowing down despite the tough stand taken by the government. At least 5 people were injured in fresh violence on Tuesday as the Bangladesh Nationalist Party sponsored indefinite shutdown sees no end.
2 crude bombs allegedly thrown by Bangladesh Nationalist Party or BNP supporters during an anti-shutdown demonstration in Dhaka injured at least 5 people on Monday. The fresh spree of violence comes as a 72-hour general strike called by the BNP entered its 3rd day on Tuesday. Meanwhile, supporters of the ruling Awami League took out a march to the BNP office in the capital, demanding an end to the political violence which has claimed more than 80 lives since January.
এই 7 দিন অবরোধ হরতালের নামে যে সারা বাংলাদেশে যে নৈরাজ্য জ্বালাও পোড়াও মানুষ হত্যা পেট্রোল বোমা মেরে গাড়িতে ঘুমন্ত মানুষকে মেরে ছোট ছোট শিশুদেরকে মেরে এমনকি 15 লক্ষ শিক্ষার্থী এসএসসি পরীক্ষা দিচ্ছে তাদেরকে পর্যন্ত বোমা মেরে যেইভাবে বেগম খালেদার নির্দেশে এই সারা বাংলাদেশের সন্ত্রাসী কর্মকাণ্ড এই অরাজকতা এর প্রতিকারের জন্য
The indefinite shutdown has taken a toll on Bangladesh's economy, which had shown signs of stability following the relative peace after elections last year. Many industries and manufacturing units have shut down due to lack of availability of raw material, virtually bringing the economy to a standstill. Industrialists also joined the protest, seeking an end to the crisis.
The reason as such that we can't do the business, there is a lot of vandalism is going on in the name of the politics. So we can't afford on it. We can't run the industry. Every day there is an incident is happening everywhere in the country. This is the way the economy cannot move. We can't stand. We can't pay our salary even the next month. The customer gets worried. The customer are not placing order anymore. The country image has been under big threat. So we've been here today to show our protest towards our political leaders that you better stop all this vandalism and bring an environment so that the political situations can stable.
Bangladesh has been witnessing an upswing in political violence ever since January 5th, the first anniversary of the general election. After boycotting the 2014 polls, the BNP led by former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia has been demanding fresh elections in the country under a caretaker administration, a system which has been annulled by the Bangladesh Supreme Court. The Awami League, which retained power last year, winning more than 3/4 seats, has so far rejected the demand and said the government will complete its term.
Pakistan People's Party will stay united and there are no rifts within its ranks, Party Patron-in-Chief Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has claimed. This comes amid reports of differences between Bilawal and his father Asif Zardari over control of the party.
Bilawal Bhutto Zardari took to social networking site on Monday to clarify the situation within the party's leadership. The PPP stands united. Anyone claiming otherwise and speaking against the leadership is no friend of the party, Bilawal wrote. Bilawal's statement comes amid speculations on a growing divide within the senior leadership of the PPP, especially between Bilawal and his father Asif Zardari. According to reports, many in the party, including Bilawal, are disappointed at Asif Zardari on the manner in which he runs the provincial administration in southern Sindh. A senior leader of the PPP had last week claimed that former President Zardari was running the government like his own personal business. 26-year-old Bilawal, who was made the PPP's patron-in-chief in December 2007, has been keeping away from party matters for some time now. Bilawal, who is currently living in London, also did not attend the memorial ceremony of his mother and former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto in December last year, exposing the rift within the family in the open. The PPP, which ruled Pakistan on 5 different occasions, was reduced to just 47 lawmakers in the 272-member National Assembly in the 2013 elections.
India and Maldives have agreed to further strengthen their cooperation in various sectors to mark 50 years of their bilateral relations. This comes during the visit of Maldivian Foreign Minister Dunya Mamoon to India.
Maldivian Foreign Minister Dunya Mamoon met her Indian counterpart Sushma Swaraj in capital New Delhi during her first visit to the country. Both the leaders discussed a number of issues of bilateral interest and maritime cooperation. According to reports, relevant issues like developmental projects in the island nation and the agenda for Prime Minister's likely visit to Maldives in March also came up in the talks. Swaraj had visited Malé in November last year in an effort to increase the bilateral trade, which stood at $112.52 million in 2013-14. India, which was one of the first countries to recognize the island archipelago in 1965, is currently involved in a number of key infrastructure projects in Maldives.
It makes for the most beautiful sight on seashore and has inspired character sketches in various books too. But many fear this setup might soon vanish from India's southern ports.
Fishing nets silhouetted against the docks on seashores have remained a celebrated sight for several storytellers for centuries. But the old Chinese nets are struggling to keep up their identity in southern India for some time now. These beautiful sentinels of bamboo and net, which have adorned the port city of Kochi for 500 years, are fast vanishing today. Fishermen who hold high maintenance and poor catch, the reason behind their diminishing use, are looking for alternatives to make ends meet. The community urged the government to speed up procedures to restore the historical legacy of India.
അതുകൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് ഇതിന്റെ മെയിൻ്റനൻസ് ചിലവ് വളരെ കൂടുതലാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് പിടിച്ചു നിൽക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല. നമുക്ക് ഇതുവരെ സർക്കാരിന്റെ ഭാഗത്തു നിന്നും ഒരു സഹായവും കിട്ടിയിട്ടില്ല. നിലനിർത്തി സർക്കാർ നിർത്തിയാലാണ് മറ്റുള്ള തൊഴിലാളികളും ഇത് വന്ന വിദേശികൾക്കും കാണാനൊരു ഇതുണ്ടാവുള്ളൂ. ഈ കൊച്ചി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞതിന് ഒരു കാഴ്ച വസ്തുവാണ് ഈ ചീനവല. അത് സർക്കാർ നിലനിർത്തുന്നില്ല.
Locally known as Chinawala, the huge cantilever nets are believed to have been brought by Portuguese from their erstwhile Macau. Set up on bamboo and teak poles, these Chinese nets are fixed land installations used for an unusual form of fishing. Each installation is operated by a team of up to 6 fishermen. While they are used throughout coastal southern China, in Kochi they have remained a tourist attraction for years.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. At least 8 killed in Taliban attack on police headquarters in eastern Pakistan. UNHRC delays report on war crimes against Sri Lankan Tamils till September. And southern India's legendary Chinese fishing nets struggling to survive. Now viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. And that's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.